The Asian Arowana is sometimes referred to as the king of freshwater fish. It is highly sought after and highly prized for several reasons. They are a large apex predator, but they swim with grace and class. Selective breeding has resulted in color variations and intensities that are simply jaw-dropping. Unfortunately, environmental factors as well as overfishing for the aquarium trade has landed the dragonfish on the endangered list. It is a CITES protected fish, making it illegal to keep as a pet in the United States, and only arowanas bred from CITES certified farms are allowed to be traded and kept. Today I'm travelling to the northern tip of Singapore where most fish farms are found. I'm here to meet with Jerome of Imperial Arowana, who will be showing me how he harvests one of the most coveted freshwater fish. Harvesting arowanas is a lot different from typical aquarium fish. Because arowanas are mouth brooders, they don't lay eggs or give birth like most other fish. Instead, they keep the eggs and fry in their mouths as a form of protection for their young. It's actually a genius evolution strategy. Out of sight, out of mind. Predators cannot eat what they cannot even see. But this also means that the average person would never know when an arowana is holding fry in its mouth. Now, this wouldn't be an issue unless your goal was to harvest arowanas. Before we begin, Jerome explained to me how he knows the arowanas are ready for harvesting.
When they're in the breeding mood now, they'll tend not to eat. They'll fast for a while.
Yeah.
Then
The one that is brooding, right? You won't eat.
not only the whole group.
Oh, the whole group.
It's a kind of like a season kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this kind, you see, this time they eat.
Whoa.
We feed our arowanas daily. So once we see that the arowana stop eating, we usually count it as the first day. Then we wait for about 3 to 4 weeks. Then once we can confirm, can ascertain that the fish is actually around holding for about a month, we will actually open the fish during the 5th week or the 6th week.
Okay. So if you open it, that's the day you go down for harvesting?
Yes, that's the day we go down for harvesting. Okay.
Jerome has been keeping fish since he was 16, and he has been breeding arowanas for over a decade. Prior to my visit, Jerome has already been counting the number of days that the arowana has been holding fry in its mouth, or simply holding for short. It was perfectly timed for me to witness the harvesting process. While it is possible to breed arowanas in aquariums, large ponds are still the preferred method by serious breeders due to space, weather, and number of arowanas that can be kept together, all of which are factors that promote higher yields for breeding. The issue with large ponds is finding the one fish that is holding is literally like finding a needle in a haystack. Simply trying to net out the single fish is not possible. Most arowana farmers use the same but methodical procedure to find the holding fish.
So we'll need our net, we'll need the big net, the holding net, harvesting net. For the big net is actually to gather all the fish. Okay, then we have 2 holding nets. The holding net is actually, we use it to chase the fish and scoop the one, we start to just select the female fish out first. So because only the male arowana hold the egg. So we select all the female fish out, then we start to catch the one holding the egg from there. So the harvesting net is the same one as the holding net. It's just that when we harvest, the net has to be slightly deeper. There are certain different lengths of net we use.
Here we can see Jerome netting out a fish to check if it is holding. Although the procedure is well thought out, it is still a tedious and painstaking process. Each fish has to be checked individually until the holding fish is found. If the fish is not holding, it is tossed out of the large net so that it is eliminated and not caught again.
Number 2.
What are you feeling for?
So when we touch under the mouth, right, if it's holding egg, right, it's actually you can feel a bulge below.
He thinks he feels something. He wants to hold the fish to pry open the mouth to have a look. Holding an arowana is not as simple as it seems. These fish are powerful. He swirls the fish around to tire it out before he takes a firm grip. It's not the right fish. They continue to check fish by fish. As the population within the big net was dwindling, they drew the big net closer to reduce the area within the net. Can you explain what? They then brought in poles that did not seem to be part of the original plan. These poles were used to raise the net above the water level, as the arowanas tend to jump in tight spaces. It seemed like a turn of events for me, and I was beginning to have my own doubts. What if they were wrong and there isn't any fish to harvest? Or what if the fish is somehow outside of the big net? I didn't have the confidence in their system like they did. And it didn't help that they operated so quietly, rarely ever exchanging words, eye contact, or any gestures. It was hard to tell what was going through their minds. Do you find it frustrating every time you do this? Because I can see that sometimes, it's,
Yes. Sometimes we feel there are times where we count the days wrongly. Sometimes the fish, when we count like maybe 4 to 5 weeks, sometimes they actually spit out the old eggs already and re-hold another new batch of eggs. So sometimes during this time, the days of the eggs when we counted are wrong. So we might be opening very young fish, maybe even eggs.
It turns out the silent operation was not a cause for concern, but the result of having repeatedly done this to the point it is like clockwork. And just like clockwork, they found the holding fish. Harvesting methods differ slightly from breeder to breeder. While some breeders sedate the fish before releasing the fry, Jerome does this with nothing but his bare hands. Well, with the exception of a glove on his left hand. He swirls the fish around to tire it out, before grabbing the fish using his right arm. His left arm is kept free to pry the mouth open. Because all fish have a layer of slime coat on their body, the glove on his left hand provides the grip necessary to overcome the slipperiness of the slime coat. The fry look like they have giant ping pong balls attached to them. That is the yolk sac from which they were born. At this stage, the fish cannot yet swim because of the heavy yolk sac. Neither do they need to. It is one of Mother Nature's clever designs that allow them to continue to draw nutrients from the yolk, eliminating the need to find food and allowing them to stay in the father's mouth until they are bigger and less prone to predation.
Now the problem is the land lease, because Lim Chu Kang area, I think the lease is we are left with about 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2 years left lah. So it's on a renewal basis lah. Yeah.
So do you know if you can renew it or?
Right now, no